Donald Trump gave a sort of confused little, I don't even know if I would call it a press conference. He kind of just spoke to some reporters on Air Force One. And Trump is already claiming victories on a number of the different issues that he said he would be working with. One of those is prices of various elements. Take a listen to what Donald Trump had to say.
I will tell you what is smart. When I took it over, eggs were through the roof, and now eggs are down 35% over a short period of time. And other things, fuel, gasoline, energy is down, way down. Oil is down to $65 a barrel. It was $82 a barrel. And when energy comes down, pricing is going to come down. Prices for groceries, etc., are going to come down. So, yeah, I think we're setting a good table. I will tell you what.
So Trump says that a good table is being set because he is starting to see oil down, gas down, and eggs down. I think it's really important that when Donald Trump makes broad claims about prices, we look at the broad price level. I congratulated Trump to the extent that it's thanks to anything he did, which it isn't, that egg price futures have turned around and have started to come down. It is true that gas prices are down just a trickle. People's home heating bills are off the charts. And I'm hearing from folks in many states where the local utility is saying, we have just made a deal to take 10% of your bill during winter. We're almost out of winter. 10% of your winter bill and defer it forward to the summer. And people telling me about $500, $600, $700 gas bills, electric bills off the charts. So it's really important to look at the bigger picture. Right now, inflation's basically flat from when Biden left office. And if we want to look at specific pricing within that, fine. But Trump's claim that the price concerns are over, we are only starting to see the effects of the tariffs. Like just a few days ago, we covered a caller to C-SPAN who said, I was just told parts for my project went up 10%. So now the project's going to cost more. The idea that because egg futures are down, which they are, and that's a great thing, have not yet seeing the effect at the grocery store, but the futures are down. That doesn't tell us that concerns about inflation are gone. In fact, they don't seem to really have started yet. Trump was then asked about whether he's going to comply with orders about rehiring terminated government workers. Here's what Trump said.
An appointee judge that ruled that the federal government has to rehire the fired federal workers. Do you plan to comply with that?
Well, I think it's absolute. I have nothing to do with that other than I heard about the decision. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. It's a judge that's putting himself in the position of the President of the United States, who was elected by close to 80 million votes. And you have that. You're having more and more of that. It's a very dangerous thing for our country. And I would suspect that we're going to have to get a decision from the Supreme Court. And that's a very dangerous decision for our country. And these are people, in many cases, they don't show up for work. Nobody even knows if they exist. And a judge wants us to pay them even if they don't know they exist. If they exist. And I don't think that's going to be happening.
So listen, the entire these are fake workers thing, as is of course the case, there are many different categories of things when it comes to worker problems. Are there people who are real people? They are alive. They are employed by a company or organization. They work from home. And you wonder, how much work are they really doing? Fine. That's one category of problem. You then have, do any of these people really exist? And this is the idea that the federal government has people on its payroll who either never existed, and it's just someone has done what, right? That's the thing. Someone's figured out a way to get someone who doesn't exist's name on government payroll, and they've also created a bank account to get money direct deposited. If that exists, it of course should be eliminated. The idea that 83,000 VA workers fall into that category, and that's the number of workers the VA needs to get rid of, just ridiculous. Same thing applies to Social Security. The claims about dead people getting checks. Social Security Administration has now put out a statement saying we look at about 3 million deaths a year. We know the number of people generally that die in the United States. We get an appropriate number of reports. These are handled, these are processed, mistakes occur in less than 1/3 of 1% of these, and they are quickly corrected. There's just 300-year-old people getting money. 300-year-old person, would they even have a bank account? Like it doesn't pass the sniff test. And Trump likes to lump it all together. We're just finding all the fraud and getting rid of all of it. Finally, Trump asked about the Alien Enemies Act and that it's really only used during times of war. And Trump goes, oh, yeah, we're at war.
Criticism that the Alien Enemies Act has only been invoked 3 other times. They were all during times of war. Do you feel that you're using it appropriately right now?
Well, this is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. They emptied jails out. Other nations emptied their jails into the United States. That's an invasion. And these are criminals, many criminals, murderers, drug dealers at the highest level, drug lords, people from mental institutions. That's an invasion. They invaded our country. So this isn't, in that sense.
This is the self-fulfilling sort of endless loop. Hey, this legal framework, the Alien Enemies Act, has only been invoked during times of war. Trump's answer is to say, I consider this that we are at war. We have a national emergency at the southern border. As far as I'm concerned, we are at war, and therefore it is appropriate. Of course, it is not actually the case that just because you say we're at war, and all of the legal ramifications that has to come with it. But what you've really got to understand, if you look at these clips on Twitter, we see these as Trump not understanding anything. He's confused. He's disoriented. You can even tell when he's listening to the questions, he seems confused. Like, what am I going to say? I'll just come up with something. If you look at the comments on Twitter, which is a right-wing echo chamber at this point, below these clips, people are enamored with this stuff. They go, he's so strong. That's right. We are at war. And we're at war against them emptying the mental asylums into the country and these things that aren't happening. His followers love this stuff. And this gets to something we're going to talk about tomorrow, which is not only have we lost a shared basis for what the facts are, we've lost a shared basis for what constitutes a problem. And I know that might be sort of cryptic. I don't want to do this segment now because it's planned for tomorrow, but we're going to talk about agreeing on facts and agreeing on problems as a prerequisite for really achieving anything politically in this country. We are going to discuss the deportations to Venezuela and El Salvador, despite the court order that Trump was asked about there, on today's bonus show. We are also going to talk about Republicans pushing to make Trump derangement syndrome a mental illness. And then finally, as enrollment in online colleges grow, students are wondering, why does it cost more? It really shouldn't, right? What's going on with the cost of online college? All of those stories and more on today's bonus show. Sign up at joinpacman.com. Use the coupon code NOTAGAIN to get a discount. And we are just 8 days from the release of my book, The Echo Machine. We're so close to its release, and I've been told books will start going out actually before or by this weekend. You're essentially ordering a book that's like out now. You won't get it tomorrow, okay? But these are starting to ship out within days. Order it anywhere books are sold, Kindle, audiobook, whatever you want. And remember that there's just a couple hundred signed copies left at davidpakman.com/booksmith. I'll see you on the bonus show. Did you know that countless commercial databases and people search sites are storing your personal information? Anyone from an employer to a former partner can use these platforms to get details about your online presence, your home address, phone number, email, license plate, family members, financial information, even political views. Europe has laws that offer some protection, but in the US, the data is widely accessible. Even the FBI will buy this information from companies to spy on people without a search warrant. Our sponsor, Incogni, provides a solution. It takes just seconds to sign up, and Incogni will send removal requests to all of the major data brokers, legally compelling them to get rid of your data. Incogni keeps you informed throughout the process. You'll get real-time updates, who has complied, which ones are still pending. They'll handle follow-ups, they'll handle appeals on your behalf, and this will save you hundreds of hours. Very few people have the time or resources to do this on their own. This service can also reduce the number of spam calls and emails you get, since many solicitors and scammers get your information from these very same sources. Go to incogni.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman for 60% off. The link is below.